special about no? Okay, he actually did it.
Yeah. Now you gotta go. Ooh.
Man, I have been going as a wrestling fan. I have been going back and forth. Yeah, okay, we will acknowledge. Tribal Chief.
We always acknowledge our tribal chief.
Both sides of things. We just doing Roman Reigns things now. Okay, well, if Jamie's gonna be Roman Reigns, and he has to take that cup of water and he has to pour it all over his head.
It is episode 151 of Cinco Squad. Let's get after it. Fellas, can you believe we're at 151 right now? Like, what the fuck has happened right now? We 151. Aren't we sick of each other at this point? I think so, but I mean,
Yep.
You know what? We stay committed, we stay locked in, and we continue to grind out because we love sports and we love each other. So let's get it rolling here. Trey Day, take it away.
Finally in the thick of things. The second half of the season started. Everybody at the beginning of the year had either NHL picks or NBA picks, or who we thought were going to either the Stanley Cup final or NBA finals. This is our bailout time. So this is the time where we can readdress. Do we still feel the same, or have things moved since then? So pick a side. Each person will go around, either take an NBA side or NHL side of something you're looking forward to, and who was your pick for the finals, and who is your current pick. Mike, I think your Rangers may make you waver. I feel like that's where we're going here. So let's see what Mike has to say.
Mr. Ranger.
Yeah. So, the NHL. I will take the NHL side. The thing I'm looking forward to. I'll start off with that. The thing I'm looking forward to, honestly, is the trade deadline coming up. We've already had some big trades in the first half of the season before the Four Nations face-off, and it'll be interesting to see some of the names that are getting floated out there and how we talk about like the trade deadline for the NHL is weird in the sense that it seems very late in the season. So there's not a whole lot of games played going into the playoffs for some of the new guys joining contenders. So it'll be interesting to see kind of who gets moved where and then how they're able to quickly or not so quickly acclimate to their new roster. And yes, my Stanley Cup choice has unfortunately changed because I did back my New York Rangers, but I cannot deny that they are awful. They are absolutely terrible. I don't even think they're making the playoffs, let alone making the Stanley Cup. However, I will say that my pick for the Western Conference team has not changed. I still believe that Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers are going to go to the Stanley Cup again this year. I believe they're hungry. I think they're going to go get somebody at the trade deadline, at least one or two pieces to help them out. So on that side, I'm sticking by it. But in the East, it's not going to be the Rangers unless some sort of miracle happens.
You almost said the Connor McDavids. The Connor McDavids are going to...
Yeah, the Connor McDavid.
Well, let's face it, other than Leon Draisaitl, that's essentially what they are.
I mean, like, look at it. He took over the Four Nations face-off.
Yeah.
So, like, here's something I got for you guys. So, should teams be relegated in like they do it in, like, soccer? Look at, see, I know things. Jamie, Mr. Say I don't know shit about across the pond. Pasta, Italy, Irish, stuff like that, you know. But you know, like, should teams be relegated? Like, should we have that type of format? Since, like, we're having such a lot of young talent. Like, let's just say in the NBA, right? The G League is becoming a lot more competitive. Obviously, not as competitive as the NBA, but we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago about how teams don't have enough room for draft picks anymore, so kids are staying back in college. But what if they made, like, a separate league, kind of like the Premier League does? I don't know the whole divisions, and Jamie can take it over here in a second. But wouldn't it be cool if, like, teams got relegated? Like, being so bad, like, you get pushed down to, like, the G League or the AHL or the AAA. And you're just like, what the fuck? Wouldn't that be sweet? I think that would be awesome. Jamie, I'll throw it over to you first.
Yeah. It'd be like Tropic Thunder, right? It would be almost like you're playing at a standard with all these guys with a payroll of like 200 million against a team that has a payroll of 200,000. It'd be so overmatched. I just don't know. I don't know if they could ever make that work because the value of the team would drop too much. And the reason why it works in the other leagues is because you have hundreds of teams spread out across the country and designated to all these different divisions of soccer. If we're using that as the example, that all these teams are vying to always move up. I think the G League is just acting as kind of like a feeder, right? What the minor leagues is for baseball. They're never really trying to become the team. They're just acting as like the holding piece for like, a young player that maybe needs a little more time and experience against older men who, have been around the NBA for a while and need to get the feel of the game. So I don't know if it could work, but it definitely would be interesting. I guarantee you the teams would stop freaking giving guys time off and having these, discussions about when you need a rest day, and they would play their superstars for 95% of the season, and people would get their tickets worth every time they came to whatever game they came to. So, I could definitely see it probably increasing the integrity of the game from that standpoint, because who the hell wants to get relegated? Imagine being the first NBA team or NHL team to get relegated. It'll be humiliation for more than a year. You'd expect them to move back up right away, because the system would have to be, is it only the last place goes up and then the first place from the next tier goes up? Because in soccer, they normally do it as the bottom 3 teams go down, and then the top 3 teams from that second tier league come up. In most of the divisions, that's how they do it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it because I was like, damn, that'd be funny as hell. Like, because teams wouldn't be able to tank. A team like the Sixers, who are supposed to be like really good, are like, nah, you have to play. Like, you can't tank for a draft pick or anything like that. I guess it's different in soccer and Premier League because there's so many countries and there's so many different teams. I could be completely wrong. I don't know much about it. So, but that's why I was like asking,
No, there's
would you guys like to see that type adopted into? Because we're always talking about expansion teams as well. So why not expand another part of the NBA or NHL? I think it would be pretty cool.
you'd have
It would
to
be fun
honestly
watch.
that if you wanted to do that, to Jamie's point, there are, just in England alone, there are so many more teams comparatively to like other like North American sports. You'd have to have like almost an entire league of expansion, which for NHL and NBA could work out in the sense of getting these prospects, like you said, more playing time and giving them a place to go where they can actually get minutes. But the other problem is like no team, if they're bad, because almost every team in the NBA and NHL, even the bad ones, have at least one superstar or at least one star player. They'd never be able to keep them. If you relegated me, no, trade me. Trade me or cut me. I'm not playing in this. I'm not playing in this lower league. Just move me to a team that has.
That shit. Watching Joel Embiid play against all these fucking college kids.
Averaging
Joel
61.
Embiid wouldn't play because he would be hurt anyways.
Yeah, well, Joel Embiid wouldn't play, but
he wouldn't actually play because he would be hurt, so it wouldn't even matter.
All right, so I guess I'll go next for like the initial question. I just thought it was funny because I was just reading something before we got on the show. As far as my picks, I don't remember what I picked for the NHL or the NBA, to be very honest with you. As far as what I'm looking for in the NHL, what I'm looking forward to the most, I mean, honestly, I can't wait for NHL playoffs. That's one thing. But I'm looking forward to see what type of effort the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to push. I mean, they're right in the kind of like the wild card slash, getting that third seed, I think, in the Central, is it called? I forget the name of the fucking conferences now.
Atlantic.
Yeah. So, like, I'm looking to see what kind of push they can have. They're a young team. 4 of their players are on the Four Nations face-off of Canada. And, I'm looking to see them. Detroit's playing good puck right now. So, I mean, see how they can move themselves up into the rankings. Ironically, both the teams I like are going to be. But obviously, I'm a Red Wings fan first. So, go Wings in that aspect. But I'm interested to see how the Lightning kind of take over, because I mean, they're always a team that's sitting right there. It can be scary for any team around there. And obviously, NHL playoffs is nothing like it. So best playoffs in sports, in my opinion. So Grandpa Jay, what you got?
Well, coming off the momentum from the Four Nations Cup, I think Edmonton's a safe pick. I agree with Mikey there. So I'm not changing that pick. NBA, I think I'm pretty secure with I think Trey and I were on the same page. When we OKC Boston finals.
Yeah, it was OKC Boston with the original.
So I think we made a good call there, and the fact that your Cavs seem to be wanting to play spoiler. Now here's the thing: Friday night, 7:30, Cavs play Boston. It'll be the 4th time they play each other. Boston owns the Knicks this year in the regular season. If they beat the Cavs, they would have the season series at 3-1. Cavs are looking to tie it. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Do you think there's relevance to the fact that if you've dominated a team in the regular season, that you carry that swag over, especially knowing that hey, if you couldn't even get over the hump in the regular season, Boston's going to take that level of play up even more come conference finals or conference semis when you play them. So does that hold enough relevance to be like Boston's not, they're unbeatable as we thought in the East? Is that the case for you, Trey, if they win on Friday night against the Cavs?
No, because I don't put all into one stock. I mean, they both have won a game against each other this year. They both have won on their home court, so I don't necessarily put one game because let's be real, it's the NBA. More than likely, I don't right now. Garland didn't play the last 2 games, so maybe he's out. Porzingis might be out. When you get to the playoffs, you're probably going to get a different version of these teams because of that. Then you start taking home court and things like that. So for me, I moved the bar and put the Cavs in ahead of Boston. But the reason I put the Cavs ahead of Boston was because I like the chemistry of the team. Boston to me has kind of done the are they hungry still right now during the regular season. Sometimes teams flip the switch on, sometimes teams don't. So that's where I'm kind of like, we'll see. Then I like the DeAndre Hunter move because that now gives them somebody who can say, okay, I'm going to go try to take out Tatum or I'm going to go try to take out Brown. So that was something they didn't have going into the year, so that can change the pick. Ty Jerome, that's been a whole thing here where now people are talking, is he at least a 6 man of the year or most improved player candidate? That was something we didn't see coming. So a lot has changed with that Cavs team. Boston didn't really do anything at the deadline.
They didn't need to. I mean, they have
yeah,
the
but
depth.
no. So what I'm saying is they're the exact same team. The Cavs aren't. So the bar has been technically moved because we made that prediction saying, what's the Cavs' weakness? Oh, they don't have anybody to play a wing. If they take Mitchell out, can somebody else come off the bench and run guard minutes? These things are not different in that case.
You know, I saw
Jay,
crazy.
I do have a.
Oh, my bad. I was about to piggyback off that, but
No,
I was
go
just
ahead.
saying, like,
Yeah,
I was just saying, there's a crazy stat about like the Knicks, like they're 0. I think I saw it on SportsCenter yesterday. They're 0-7. I think against the Celtics, Cavs, and OKC this year, and it's like, wow, that's wild. Like, that's a crazy ass stat. So I thought that was pretty cool. So like, I think it's down to the Cavs and Boston in the East right there. I mean, I think it'll be a solid ass showdown in the conference finals if it gets to that.
So I know Trey's question might go. Are you going West Coast with this question, Trey?
Yeah, kind of. I'm going west, kind of west, and then a little bit of Midwest. What do you think my question is?
What are you going to ask me? Is Golden State relevant enough in the playoffs to put a big team out?
No, actually, I wasn't going to go there. But all right, since you asked that question, do you believe so?
I believe so. I believe they have enough of that dog mentality where teams might come in a little more intimidated by the fact that they come with this championship pedigree. I just don't know if they have the legs to keep up with a really good team if it goes 7.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. So they're one of my interesting things to watch in the second half. Well, I was actually going to ask you, and it's somewhat relevant to now, but somewhat not. So when we had the news about Popovich, hopefully he gets better, that this might be the end of the road. Jay, Pop or Field?
Oh, man.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't worry,
I don't think I could lean away from a guy that won 3 three-peats. He did it twice with the Bulls, once with the Lakers. He won as a player. He's the real deal. Yeah, you could say, well, if anybody has Mike, they would do the same thing. If anybody has Kobe, they would do the same thing. Okay, well, Pop may have had one of the most underrated, greatest players of all time, and that roster was never lacking at any position going into the playoffs. Probably the most solid defensive championship team of our era. I say on our era being, let's say, over the last 15 to 20 years. So, oh, man, I got to go with Phil.
John, same question.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Pop, is always, when I think about like great coaches, I think of what you can do with what you don't have or what you have to develop. And I think Popovich has kind of been the guy. But I also think it's very difficult for Phil to manage egos and be able to take egos and say, hey, we need to put this within the betterment of the team. But also Phil's mindset was also to kind of like let the players coach in a way. Let Michael coach, let Kobe coach, and Shaq. Like, let them kind of handle the team. And I'll handle the X's and O's, but like, this is their team type of thing. So That's a fucking good question. Golly, man, that's tough because I just made 2 good points. Damn, that's gonna be a good clip. Oh, sorry.
Right, here's the scary stat. Right, Phil went to since '91.
Damn,
He
everyone
went
quiet tonight. Come on, laugh and do something.
1991. Phil was coaching in the finals for 10 out of those 14 years between '91 and that 2004-5 season.
So he
So
missed 3 years, so they sucks. No, sure.
was it three times in that 15-year span? He's not in the finals. And
no,
Pop wins
no.
what, one or two in the middle of it?
I gotta go Phil. I mean, it's hard to do 3 peats. 3 peats is. I mean, we see it at Patrick Mahomes. He couldn't do it. I mean, he probably will in his career at some point. Tom Brady could never do it. Like we look at all these guys that are great players. I don't know if even Gretzky did it when he was playing, but like you look at 3 peats. I mean, that's tough. I mean, even if you have the greatest player in the world, which he did. It's very difficult to do, especially against the teams they were going against in each of the conference. In the Eastern Conference, he was going against good teams, and in the Western Conference against what was it, Utah, Phoenix. I mean, those were solid teams. I think Charles Barkley won the MVP in one of those years. So that's solid. I have to go Phil.
Mike, what
Mikey,
about you?
dropping the ball in the bucket, Mikey. I know you might make a pop sound here.
No. Give. I honestly, it's a damn good question. You really can't go wrong with either answer. But I'm gonna take Pop because when it comes down to it, Phil, fantastic, phenomenal, legendary coach, X's and O's, all that. Pop, to me, was the orchestrator of everything that happened within the organization. Phil took what he was given and had probably, I'm sure, a lot of say in the roster, but took the team and made it as good as it could be. So yeah, give me Pop because while Phil was his legendary coach, X's and O's, and he was able to take anybody on that roster and make them better players, that cannot be denied. Pop to me was kind of the maestro, the orchestrator of everything top to bottom, as far as he was the one that was mainly bringing in the guys that he knew he needed. He actually reminds me a lot of Herb Brooks in the sense of he didn't need the best players, he needed the right ones. So he always seemed to be able to bring in those guys that fit what he was trying to do, like puzzle pieces, you know? And so I would say Pop because, I mean, what, 20 something years of keeping the Spurs relevant and always seeming to be able to keep them competitive.
Manu!
Right. Emmanuel Ginobili, as they said it at the draft.
And they kind of feel like the Steelers of the NBA.
They're always kind of just around. Even if they're not like contending, they're always just around.
No, for me, I mean, you know, it is kind of funny because, of course, Phil Jackson coached my favorite player. So you would think that I would say Phil Jackson. Popovich gave me a lot of headaches over the years. And that's partly why I'm going to go Popovich because the thing for me, and this isn't a shade to Phil, I mean, Phil, as great as he was, Popovich found multiple ways to do this. You had the Twin Tower era, then he leaves the Twin Tower era, starts to do we kind of build around Duncan, but then we got Manu, then we make him a 6-man. He comes off the bench. I know to plug him in. I know to make him a starter. Then they reinvent the wheel again with the Kawhi era. So so Pop had all the different eras. And I think for me, that's why I lean to Pop because Phil, don't get me wrong, Phil was really good at saying, I'm going to take the best talent, I'm going to max them out. But sometimes when he didn't have the best talent, stuff went downwards. Pop could take some of the average talent, some of these guys overseas who people weren't believing in, and build them up. So I feel like I could plug Pop into other situations outside San Antonio, and it still would have worked. Phil had certain situations that were specifically going to work for Phil. So I think that's where, either way, it's a hard question.
And to that point, like I mean, you put Phil in New York. I mean, he still had Melo, but he couldn't develop a team just because he wasn't. I mean, he was older at that point, now mind you, but still, his mindset and his philosophy still wasn't relevant to this new age basketball. And I think that's where Pop kind of gets a little bit of a side on this, just because even though I said Phil, where Pop has been in so many different eras of basketball and had so much success. I mean, look at the Spurs this year. Until Wembanyama came down, we were like, damn, are the Spurs back? Look at this. Like, this could be a team that wins the championship. Could Chris Paul get his first ring? Like, like, damn, okay. But Yeah, he's done it in many different eras, which I think is very impressive.
Yeah, and speaking of different eras, we did this last week. We'll continue to do this, as we said, for the next couple of weeks. We're going to go back to different eras. We're going to go back in that time machine, and we're going to set some stuff up. This week, we had a matchup that Mike picked. Mike, let us know, what was your matchup time machine for college basketball?
So this matchup time machine has a bit of appeal to two members of our esteemed panel. We have the famous 92-93 Fab Five Michigan Wolverines versus what could have been in the 09-10 Kentucky Wildcats.
That team was wild.
Mr. Kentucky,
Started.
I think you should start this.
They lost. They won. They were in the Carrier Dome, which was ironic. They played the regional rounds there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the Fab Five is known for changing the culture of basketball all around. So, like, it's hard to say that any team may have had more of an impact on the game than that particular team. And we all know the history behind that, so we don't have to go into the details of that. In terms of matching those teams up against each other, you know, ironically, they played each other in 91, 92 when Mashburn was around, and it was the Chris Webber versus Jamal Mashburn kind of show. Chris Webber got the best of him. They won by 3, and Kentucky was rolling through the tournament at that point. That was in the Patino days. 3 NBA players as well on the roster, and Tony Delk likes the players that right now just love looking at any film from them in that day. But that was the debut of John Calipari. You have DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall leading the way for Kentucky. Eric Bledsoe, countless NBA stars. Higgins, you name it. Okay, they had their own 5-5. I think 7 or 8 players ended up playing in the league from that team. Started up the year 19-0, so he sets a record, at least a conference record, Kentucky record for most consecutive wins in your first year. And I'm sitting pretty. I'm talking shit to all my friends. I'm like, this is it. All the earlier years when we were choking with freaking Tubby, we couldn't get to the damn Final Four. We couldn't get the championship game. All we needed was Calipari. Show up at a freaking house. I'm there with the Swim family, and I'm watching this freaking final 8 games, right? Elite 8 game against West Virginia, and Higgins just puts the lockdown. And we start the game 0 for 20 from downtown. They end up shooting 4 from 32 from outside. The team ends up also shooting 55% from the free throw line, and they lose the game by like 6 points and don't even score 70 points. So I can't even say that this Kentucky team can. Yes, the talent on the roster, you could say head to head, they would have given them a great run, but there was magic with that Michigan team. There was magic with that 5-5. Like, they had their eyes set on the prize to not just change the game, but show everybody that we're going to play it our way as well and change the game. So I can't compare. There's not too many teams I can put up to that Michigan team. As much as I think that Kentucky roster could maybe beat any other Kentucky roster in modern times of Kentucky basketball, maybe any roster, period. I just don't know if they can match up to that Michigan team because of the magic that was kind of following them that entire season. And had it not been for, Chris Webber's bonehead play, I don't think you guys would have beat them in the finals anyway. And we can't say that, right? It is what it is. But man, that Kentucky team to me that's why you got me heated when you fucking brought this team up. That was the biggest in Kentucky history to have that much talent, prominent talent on a roster, and freaking go out in the tournament not even being able to score 70 goddamn points against a West Virginia freaking bum-ass team that just had a bunch of blue-collar workers on the team. I can't say they're bums. They beat Kentucky, but damn, that was the most disappointing game that I've ever watched in the tournament. So for that reason, I cannot choose Kentucky. 5-5, Michigan Wolverines.
Well, that's what makes that.
Let's sing it for
So
him.
interesting.
Let's sing it for him, Mike. West Virginia.
Yeah. Mountain Mama. Take me home. Country road.
That's what makes that so interesting because it is 2 teams that we all just assume.
He's so mad. Sorry.
And that's why he had to go first.
Right now with a beverage of agua.
For me, I remember that Kentucky team and being like, man, this is about to be amazing. And I was in college at the same time they were in college, so I'm watching this and I'm like, man, these dudes are about to go pro. This is kind of sweet. The Fab Five, though, I would take, and partly one thing I like about their roster is okay. So the Kentucky team was based. The best players on their team were 3 freshmen. The Fab Five were guys who all came back from playing the year before, so chemistry does have to play a factor. Then I look at the backcourt in particular. When you look at Jimmy King at 6'5", you look at Jalen Rose at 6'8". They would have been going against Bledsoe at 6'1", John Wall at 6'4". They would have gave those two issues in the backcourt, just the size alone. Then I go to the front court, and you say, okay, Boogie. Yeah, Boogie's going to give people issues. But you got Howard and you got Weber up there. So I just like, when I look at the end of the day, I like the front court matchup better. I like their back. I like the back court, especially the size, better. I don't think either team was a great shooting team. So now I got to go down to looking at things such as, okay, well, who's going to get more physical? Who has more size? And that's where I look at the Fab Five and would say they would have took that Kentucky team as long as Chris Webber decides that, he's going to
Patrick Patterson would have been the one matchup on Weber, and I'm with you. That was Weber all day long with that.
Yeah, and I think Patterson was good, but Weber would have served him. John, who you got?
Yeah, I got the Fab Five, and not just because I'm a Michigan man, but like just because I think the biggest thing that we're missing here, and I think that you guys hit on is, and Jamie kind of alluded to it, but the chemistry. And I agree with you. In that 09, 2010, I was like, damn, this Kentucky team's gonna be really tough. If Syracuse has to play them in a tournament, it's gonna be very tough. But the biggest thing that they were all visualizing was they were all these freshmen were already in the NBA, right? They weren't thinking. They were thinking about I want to win the tournament and stuff, but this was the start of the one and dones. I mean, and kind of like that middle era where, yeah, if they win, but they're still John Wall was going to be number 1 pick. DeMarcus Cousins would probably be a top 10 pick. Like they were already in the NBA at that point. Where the Fab Five was, they had chemistry from the recruitment stages. I remember like watching it on the 30 for 30 and hearing like Jalen Rose was calling Chris Webber. Chris Webber was calling. I don't know the other team, Fab Five's names, but like they were just calling each other before, like, yeah, let's do this. So they had that chemistry already there, and chemistry beats talent no matter what. No matter how much talent you put on a team, chemistry will win. And I mean, we saw it in the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. That team wasn't better than Russia, but they had more chemistry, had more heart, had more everything. I think that's what you had with the Fab Five: chemistry, heart. They want to play for each other. Where I think that Kentucky team, although they were talently great in the NBA, they were all selfish. They're all selfish players. It was like, give me the ball. You could see it like when they were getting down against West Virginia. All West Virginia had to do was just get in their head, and they did. And that's when like Kentucky just started shooting. I was like, why are you shooting? Give it to Boogie. Like he's bigger than their center, so go to the paint. Like, and they would just John Wall just wanted to be like the guy in that game. I remember that game because I was like, God damn, he just needs to give it to the big man. Like let Boogie go to work, and he would never let him go to work. So I say chemistry outweighs that Kentucky team, and that's why I go with the Fab Five.
Mm-hmm. Mike, this was your question.
Yeah, no, I think you guys hit it right on the nose. It's the Fab Five because they are the better team. Now, you can, I mean, there arguments can be made, obviously, in the backcourt that in this matchup, John Wall is the most naturally talented player. I said arguments. I could hear the other way as well. I do think. I mean, I think Wall is would be more talented than Ray Jackson or Jimmy King. Jalen Rose is.
I don't think he's more talented than Jalen off of raw talent.
No, I think right. Jalen's the one that I can hear the argument for, but Wall is okay. So Wall, if he's not the one guard, he's the 2, as far as talent goes.
Yeah, he's 2. Yeah,
but John's point makes a resounding effect in this sense because John Wall was the guy. Boogie was the guy. Bledsoe wanted to be the guy. The Fab Five were the guys. They were the team. And if you think about it, they're coming off of a freshman year where they didn't succeed to the expectation of what the 5 of them could do together. So they're coming into that 92-93 season hungry and wanting to prove everybody wrong that they are, the team, that they can do it. And I'll be completely honest, if not for Chris Webber's false timeout, yeah, UNC's not beating them. They're going to win the national championship if that doesn't happen. I firmly believe that. So, all of that being said, I think the Fab Five takes that matchup pretty, not handily, but they're able to hold the lead for most of the matchup. And frankly, the most notable thing to come out of that Kentucky season was the fact that John Wall got a song by Troop 41 about them and a dance.
Now, here's the thing. In contrast of styles, John Wall nobody could stop him. He was the fastest player on the court in college basketball, probably in the NBA too. Right away going in, he's the fastest player in the NBA, coast to coast. So that would have been an issue for the guards. But the style of play in contrast was so different. They would have taken his ass out pretty early. Like somebody would have fouled him so hard that he would have contemplated going down the lane over and over again like that recklessly. So having that mindset as a team, like you said, and how I mean, they were like the Detroit Pistons mentality on the defensive end of their floor. If you get hurt, you get hurt. We don't give a damn. We're trying to win a game by any means, right? And yeah, people might say, well, that's not sportsmanship like at all. But everybody on that team, you're right, they were a team of dogs, not an individual who had a dog and had a lot of fight in him. So
and they had a bunch of, in the Fab Five. I mean, yes, the 5 players on the court were great. They also had a good bench.
They did.
They could sub in at any point. That was pretty solid and could go in there and maybe make like a good like NBA roster as a role player. So I think people are forgetting.
And Fisher's an underrated coach in college basketball history.
Mike, you were saying something earlier about the stud programs of Drexel and Delaware.
For this week's Mike's Mind, I wanted to take you guys back to February 22nd of 2018, when it just so happened that Drexel entered with a 4-game losing streak, but battled back from down 34 points for the biggest comeback win in recent memory. So what happened was, being on that 4-game losing streak, they went more than 5 minutes coming into the game between their first field goal and their second field goal. By the under 12 official timeout, they were down 22. And in the closing minutes of the half, it had actually gotten worse. They got to 34 as Delaware shot 62% from the floor and 63% from 3. Everything changed in that second half, though, thanks to Tremaine Isabel. He was a junior, and he ended up outscoring Delaware nearly by himself in the second half. He had 22 points, 6 assists, and only 1 turnover as they jumped. Drexel's shooting percentage jumped to 57%. They ended up actually ending the game on a 22-6 run. Isabel had 7 of Drexel's last 9 points over the final near 4 minutes and hit game-winning free throws with 2.2 seconds left. He actually finished an assist shy of the triple-double, and Drexel ended up making that comeback win to win 85-83.
Yeah, and Mike, thank you for that, because now I actually get to give my Cats a little bit of love. The greatest comeback in college basketball history is Kentucky at LSU in '94, raising a 31-point deficit in the second half when you have relevant programs playing each other and get Drexel against fucking Easel State Central University. Then the relevance of a 31-point comeback is much better than some freaking Drexel and Easel Central or whatever the fuck.
You're just salty of the fact that you had to pick against Kentucky.
It's on like lower programs for no reason, just because they beat Kentucky in the tournament most years. So
yeah, it's not our fault that you guys can't step up other than like 2 years to actually win games you're supposed to win.
Damn, that kind of hurt.
Blame it. Don't put it on Drexel and Delaware just because your super talented one and done rosters can never step up and actually win fucking games.
Who was the team?
Okay, Mikey, I remember that one. No,
in all seriousness, who'd you guys?
How long did it take? How long did it take the Yankees to spend $10 billion a year to make it back to the World Series? How long?
Go to different sports.
How long?
Why do you go to different? That has nothing to do with anything.
If you're talking about a team that's supposed to, because of all this fucking razzle dazzle and having every
fine. You know what? If we're gonna switch sports, how long did it take the Bucks to have to go get the greatest quarterback ever to go back to the Super Bowl?
Are you kidding me? But now you're comparing apples and oranges. If Kentucky is relevant,
you just fucking did that.
You just fucking did.
I'm talking about 2 great franchises or great programs.
Different sports.
I'm talking about greatness. So if you're saying this great college basketball program is the first ever to 2,000 wins, is supposed to, the great New York Yankees, who have 17,000 more World Series than everybody else, are supposed to do it all the time too. So don't give me this supposed to shit. You've been much more disappointed than Kentucky's been since you've been winning, since the last time you won something. So don't even give me that shit.
Since the last time I won something.
When's the last time you won a World Series?
Won a World Series?
09 to 16, we were in a rebuild.
09. Yeah. Right.
09 to 16.
Also,
And
okay.
then 16, we got the greatest player in baseball, finally, to come up out of the minors, and went to the World Series, where realistically, I agree with Nestor Cortez. Should have won game 1, lost game 2, probably lost game 3, would have won game
Should've won game
4
4.
off of one play, would have won game 5 off of one play. All
Suddenly they're
3
up
games that
3-2.
we lost are are all off one play. Because remember, we're leading in the game 1, and Nestor gives up the grand slam home run.
See, Jamie
Game
brought
four,
up
game-
the big bad Yankees fans. Look what you
Don't
done.
fuck with Kentucky basketball if you can't back it up with your
Okay,
great friend.
fine.
I just did, bro.
No.
What are you fucking talking about? Yeah, back
Hold
up.
on, no.
What do you think I just said? I just backed it up. The fuck you
Fine,
mean?
fine. You want
You
to talk
didn't
about?
say shit.
By talking about a loss.
We were
Right.
there.
Okay, but I just backed it up. Like, you were just asking to back it up. I just did. What do you think? I was just talking nonsense? Like, I'm literally talking facts.
I mean, if we're gonna compare those apples and
We lost
oranges in
3
this
plays.
case, Jay, we at least made it. When's the last time you made it?
2012.
Oh. Okay, so in the year 2000, how many national
Actually, no,
championships?
2014. Actually, we went to 3 Final Fours in 4 years. Won
Okay,
once.
fine. Since the year 2000, how many national championships have you won?
1.
Okay, UNC's won 3. Thank you. You've got the same amount as Syracuse, and yet you want to shit on everybody else.
Hey.
No,
I
I'm
didn't start this
saying-
shit.
I'm
I
saying.
shit on one
I'm
fucking
saying,
team,
I'm
not
not-
everybody else. I shit on one team, and that's that logo on John's head. Not everybody else. I shit on one team, so don't put words in my mouth. One
Okay.
team I shit.
Oh, I'm putting greatness in your mouth. You want to call greatness?
Yeah, the first team to 2,000 wins in the history of college basketball is
Definitely
great.
a pause moment.
Definitely pause moment.
I don't care.
It's
I don't
definitely
care about
not.
how many wins you have. I care about how many national championships you have.
This is definitely a pause moment.
The second most in NCAA history.
What have you
Put
done for me
greatness
lately?
in your mouth. All right, Charles Barkley.
No, that's LeVar Ball. Speaking of the big bad Yankees, though, the Yankees would be considered the heel of baseball, right? Mike, this is right in your wheelhouse. If you were a wrestler, would you have a preference of being a face or a heel?
Man, I have been going as a wrestling fan. I have been going back and forth. Yeah, okay. We will acknowledge. Tribal Chief.
We always acknowledge our tribal chief.
We always acknowledge our tribal chief. I've been going back and forth because there's good facets to both sides of things. We just doing Roman Reigns things now.
Yeah, Jamie was
Yes.
supposed to do it since he's Roman Reigns.
But all hail acknowledge the tribal chief, so I'm just saying
Yeah.
thank you.
I said,
Acknowledge him.
supposed to
You
do
didn't
the-
acknowledge him the right way. Okay, well, if Jamie's going to be Roman Reigns and he has to take that cup of water and he has to pour it all over his head because if you ever notice, Roman's hair is always wet. As far as being a face or a heel, man, there's something special about. You look at don't actually do it. There's something special about no. Okay, he actually did it.
Yeah. Now you gotta go. Ooh.
Ooh, I did it.
Do it.
Oh, or
do
he's
it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
do it.
Pat, before-
Did it all right. There is something special. You look at Cody Rhodes and the reaction, and like currently Jey Uso, and you look at the reactions they get from the crowd whenever their music hits. I would have to say I'd want to be a face just because there is something special about stepping out in front of the crowd and just the entire arena erupts and they start singing your song and your pyro goes off and the lights are flashing. Like that's special. Being a heel is kind of fun because you can make fun of people and like get people to really hate you. But I don't know that applause. That applause, I think, is something I would crave as a wrestler.
No, being a heel is way more fun. You still do get applause. If you become like a top heel, you still, when you look at like the prime days of Triple H, people are still out here talking about suck it and all these type of things. When you look at my favorite version of Hulk Hogan is NWO Hulk Hogan because
Hollywood Hogan, yeah.
Yeah, because that was all baby face and all this, oh, I'm a real American. Like,
Yeah.
When they got to the black and white and the screen would turn to black and white, you hear the like that was like, I would get on my seat and get excited. I never got excited when, like, let's say Cody Rhodes or somebody comes out. That's not exciting. When you go out there and you see Roman Reigns and he's a badass, there's something to that. So for me, I would definitely. I don't care if the crowd is gonna boo because the real G is gonna roll with the heel because at the end of the day, this is America. We root for the villain, whether it's been Scarface, whether it's been any gangster in the film. That's what we do in America. We root for the villain. So make me the heel. Right now, these clips I see of The Rock, this shit is hilarious. I am enjoying all of these Rock just telling people to shut up. I don't want to hear your shit. And dogging people in the crowd. This is way more fun than the little people's eyebrow and everybody's like, oh, I love Rocky. No, this is fun. John, I feel like you want to be a villain.
Hold on. The props.
Of course. I mean, when Randy Orton came out when I first saw him as the villain, man, I couldn't stop singing this song. Anytime I was going to college and walking to class, I was like, what the fuck am I singing right now? But I was like, anytime I walk in a room, I felt like that song was my theme song. I love that song. That's a great ass song. And to your point, yes, most villains have the best theme songs. If you think about it, I mean, you think about like Generator X had a great one. I don't think Cena was ever a villain, even though they would try to make him one. He still wasn't.
He was, but
he never. His theme song, he's always.
Stone Cold was for a while. He had one of the best intros.
Who?
Stone Cold was for a while. He had one of the
Stone
best
Cold
intros.
was, yeah. I mean,
Rock.
You know, the Rocks, I just never could get it was just never a memorable one, in my opinion. Like for like the non-fans, in my opinion. So like Randy Orton, when he came out, I was like, oh, this dude's. And then they call him like the Viper, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that shit.
Viper, Apex Predator,
like,
Legend Killer.
I want to be the Viper, like hitting the RKO. Like, man, that shit was great. I would love to be the heel at that point because having the good old theme song and running out there and then just hitting a sick ass move, like, yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? On a side note, the funny thing is you describe seeing Randy Orton. I know exactly what version of Randy Orton you mean, and it's bald Randy Orton from 2009.
Yeah.
That I was saying this. I saw a clip of it, and I was saying this myself the other day. Like, so it was like May, I think, is when he punted.
Don't challenge him.
What day? What time?
I think. Let's see. It was on Raw. So it was
like I'm wearing.
What were you wearing? Well, John, in 2009, I didn't know you.
Yellow Speedo.
I had my pink thong on, bitch.
Okay, of course. You're watching Randy Orton. No, but like,
Speedo.
I didn't even see the Speedo. On net. Oh, so
R.I.P.
Yeah. No, Randy Orton, like 2009 bald heel Randy Orton. Just a whole nother level.
Him and Cena going at it. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. It was.
That's who
but it's like Cena's song was like, I think like a good question, like what song is like the most memorable too? It was like
his is pretty.
In a future topic, we will discuss this.
Yes.
Yeah, we will talk. We'll talk about
but
that.
Yes.
Like I think like I just remember that and like I can't get his song out of my head to this day. Like 2025, I'm like, oh, this dude's like. And he never had that. He didn't always have that song when he came in. He didn't have.
No, it was that version of Randy that got it, and now he still uses it,
which he should because it's him.
It's his song, yeah.
But yeah, that was I was like, dude, this dude's like, I'm actually like on his side, like kick him in the face, like give him the RKO. I don't want to see the Cena.
Kick his ass.
The Cena Buster or whatever it's called.
Exactly, man.
Mr. Rain.
It's never been the Cena Buster.
What once struck the fear of God into me as a young man became the most acclaimed sound I hope for every time I watch wrestling. Dong!
Dong.
And the whole freaking arena goes black. And all of a sudden you see the white face of Paul Bearer come out. Your ashes shall be inside by the end of this match. Undertaker, bro, all day long. That's my hero. That's who I wanted to be. Of course I want to be a heel. Fuck the good guys, even though Shawn Michaels was my guy. He's just a sexy boy. Sexy boy.
What people don't understand, don't realize is that that's how Jamie sleeps. He sleeps like this. And when I knock on the door in the morning,
I do. I'm completely in my coffin, just ready to wake up and rumble. Who wants some? Who wants some? Yeah, that was to me what I had hoped. If I was ever going to be a wrestler, I would love to enter an arena. The whole place goes black and everybody just goes silent for a second. and everybody for that split
That
second
shit
actually
used to
thinks
scare me.
that the Undertaker will bury a man alive at the end of a freaking wrestling match. Come on, the theatrics behind that all day long. Give me a character that can do something like that, and I will be in full acting mode, ready to take it on. Super fucking stoked about that kind of role. I don't think I can play the goody goody guy all the time and still like have fun with it and be in character all the time. That would bore me.
Unless plants were involved.
This went as I expected. Mike would be the one person to say, "This is exactly how I expected this question to play out."
So we're degenerate.
Good, I have-
X, and Mike
I have rivals.
and Mike is Kurt
But I'm
Angle.
not.
Not Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle wasn't even a face. He was a heel most of the time. No, I'm John Cena. Is what I would be if you want me to be like
a
constant.
face and it didn't work, and then they said, "All right, fuck it."
I can see the resemblance.
It's the bald spot, isn't it?
Fly, pelican, fly.
No, bitch. No. Mike's like, fuck, I just called myself out. National TV. We're on TMZ right now.
It's okay. We'll be that when that Roman Reigns clip goes viral with Mr. Reigns in the corner.
Yes.
Speaking of viral, there were a lot. Okay, so all of us are big sports movie people. We've already referenced Miracle like 6 times during this show. So apparently, that's like official movie squad. At some point, everybody's missed the movie though, where you're like, everybody's referencing, and you're like, never seen it. Everybody's like, wait a minute, you're a sportsman. What do you mean you didn't see that movie? So we all got one at least. Mike, what is that movie that's a sports movie that you somehow just never actually watched, even though you're a big sports fan?
Okay, Trey, I need you to not hate me for this. Okay. Of all the sports movies, I have actually never seen He Got Game.
Wow.
I brought it with me when we were there. You should have said something. I would have brought the DVD.
Yeah, say this stuff.
Yeah, we could have watched it.
I know about it.
References have made throughout this.
Yeah,
show.
no, I know about it, but I just have never actually sat down and watched the movie.
To be fair, the first time I saw it was with Trey in 2013 in our apartment. So, to be fair,
yeah, I would have literally brought it.
He literally was like, "You never seen He Got Game?" We sat there, we drank Uncle Rossi, and had a good old night.
Yeah, I literally would have brought it with me if I knew that. Okay, so John's knocked off He Got Game off his list. So what haven't you seen, John?
Actually, to be very honest with you, I've never seen Field of Dreams. As much as like a big baseball fan that I am,
you didn't miss much.
I have never seen Field of Dreams. I mean, I'm gonna watch it one day, and this was very tough because like me, like I watch a lot of sports movies regardless if they're good or not, like documentaries, anything. I just like watching sports in general. So this was hard. I was going through a list and I was like, damn, I've seen this, and I've seen a ton of movies, but I've never seen Field of Dreams. I mean, I've seen like scenes, but I've never seen. To be very honest, I've never seen it, and I'm a huge baseball fan, so that's kind of sad.
I do think you would enjoy it.
Probably just because of the history, and I want to know more about I find it creepy when people come out the fucking weeds, though. So or cornfields.
Yeah, you might have to get over that a little bit because that happens.
To Jamie's point about the Undertaker, Undertaker always scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
when he used to go black and he used to like, I'd be under the covers like.
He lit people on fire, like legitimately lit people on fire.
That's how I look.
Is it over?
Is it gone? I can't stop looking away.
And somehow they made Kane even more scary.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah. I'm like, stop it. And then they made him tag team and come out separate.
Brothers or whatever. Okay, so we got so far He Got Game, we got Field of Dreams. Speaking of Field of Dreams, really quick, Mike, if you were playing baseball, would you want to be a utility type person, or would you want to be the dominant pitcher? Like, what would you want to be? A little bit of a Renaissance man or a dominant in a certain position?
So, obviously we've said before across sports, the best ability is availability. So being able to play multiple positions competently while still contributing at the plate as well, I think would be really cool. As a pitcher, I'd want to be a closer, to be honest. I would want to be an elite closer because it's, when it comes down to it, that's the guy that needs to end the game for your team. Usually when you're winning a title, the closer's on the mound. And so I would want to be able to be put in that high leverage situation. Plus, be really cool to have, especially these days, everybody's got a cool entrance now. So as a wrestling fan, it kind of appeals to me to have some cool song and stuff.
Unless you're fucking Clay Holmes and just play that fucking White Horse song, and all of a sudden,
Oh yeah,
and he blows another one. His
yeah.
third
Well,
most save this year.
no,
Yeah,
we're looking to head more towards the Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman end of the spectrum than the Clay Holmes end of the spectrum. There's a reason why the Mets are turning him into a starter.
Nah, I think. What's the question? Would you want to be the face or would you want to be the utility guy? Is that what your question was?
What
No.
position would revert
What do
your
you-
most would revert your
In-
interest? This is who I'd want to be as a baseball player.
I mean, growing up, I always wanted to play shortstop. I mean, I was a huge like Derek fan in general, but like the shortstop always like seemed to be the swaggiest player on the field, and always had that like on the shit swag type of like mentality. So I always wanted to be that guy, and then the other one I would want to be is a right fielder because the right fielder always always hit nukes, like just absolutely just torched the ball. So it was kind of between both shortstop and right field.
Got you. Back to the movie talk. Our movie star here, Jay.
I've never
We're in
seen
Los
Bendit
Angeles.
like Beckham.
How?
I just never got around to ever seeing it. I caught
It's
like
such
It's
I caught like 10 minutes of it one time and I had
yeah,
to leave. I was like, Sean, this looks pretty good. And I've never gotten back to saying like maybe I should sit down and watch this whole movie. I maybe
That's
caught
like-
it twice at random parts for very short periods of time, but I've never seen the movie through and through.
that's like the soccer movie of the generation.
Yeah. And I missed
I
out on
never seen it, but I would expect that from me. I'm surprised you haven't seen that. Yeah, that was a shocker. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I am surprised at John with the Field of Dreams. I'm not 100% shocked with Mike, and I just figured by now you would have because I referenced it so much, but it doesn't necessarily shock me. For me, and this is a movie I'm never gonna watch. I'm just telling you this right now. Y'all may have watched this when y'all were kids. Never watching fucking Airbud. I have no interest in watching a fucking Airbud movie. Like, I'm sorry. I'm
we
going
say
through the list.
great
And
movies.
I'm absolutely.
It's a
fine.
great series of movies. It's not just a
I'm-
movie. It's Trey.
I'm-
It's a series.
I was strolling through, and I'm like, taking in mind, I'm probably the person who goes to the movies the most of everybody on this show. So very rarely do I miss a movie. But Airbud, I was the target because I was a kid when that came out. I had no interest. They made 7 of those movies apparently. Like, come on, dog, and I mean that pun intended. That shit. Look, we got the dog playing football, the dog's playing basketball, the dog's playing soccer. Then he played baseball. Then he played volleyball. Do y'all know? No, actually, I'm sorry. The 6th or the 7th film, there was an Airbud movie, and apparently what it was Airbud. It was some other dogs. They went to Egypt. They meet a monkey and a camel, and they go through tombs searching for treasure.
Yeah.
That's
Not
Airbud.
watching that.
Don't forget.
So hold on. I know why he doesn't want to
Not
watch it.
watching it.
Hold on. Jay.
Turn their butt off.
So the
Never.
reason why he doesn't want to watch it is because he thinks Bubba should have been in all those movies, and that's the
Right,
reason why
that's
he's
fair.
protesting.
That would have been the only circumstance I would have considered.
And then Ashtray brought up this idea of 6th and 7th. Has everybody here seen The Sixth Man?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody saw that movie?
No.
No,
I'm not
you
good
never
with
saw it?
movie titles. I'm not good with movie titles. I'd have to actually.
That's the one with Marlon Wayans and his
Yes,
friend passes
where the
away
brother
and he comes
dies at
back.
the rim.
The brother dies, and
Yeah, I've
helping
seen that.
him.
See, I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. So
I don't know names like that. I don't. It was on Disney
Yeah.
Channel a lot.
I've seen that scene. I have not seen the whole movie.
Okay.
Oh, that's like it's a good movie. You should watch it.
It's a good movie.
You'd actually
It's
like
a really
it.
good movie.
Yeah.
Actually,
Trey, you're neglecting the 7th movie in that franchise in which all of Airbud's puppies go to space.
Jesus, Mikey.
I wish I was making that up.
Did you watch
I'm
all
not.
7, Mikey?
I did not. I just
Oh.
remember seeing like the advertisement for Space Buddies.
Never. I'll be watching
Jamie,
that.
we saw his door locked one night.
I like golden retriever puppies. Sue me.
The reasons
Oh,
we
okay.
won't speak of on here.
Never will I be watching that movie. Never. I just, I'm sorry. And like I said, I was a target.
It's
so
not worth watching anyways. I saw the first one when I was a kid because it came out right. It's like, oh, okay, Airbud, and then I watched it and I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
Never
I
watched
thought it
it
was one of the stupidest things ever. But you know what isn't stupid? This time of the day, when we play everybody's favorite game, show everybody a little bit of us about us being geniuses. New season, gentlemen. Time for me to get that chip.
It's in the
Time
fall,
for
baby.
Stump the Squad.
Yeah, it's the reigning champ. We back with a whole new season kickoff here of Stump the Squad, where we are all starting on squares. That means we're all at 0 right now on episode 151, which means if you guys join in and tune in, like and subscribe, you guys can play this whole season with us for the next 25 shows. Your boy here's going for the three-peat. We talk about how hard it is. I'm going to show Mahomes how it's done over these next 25 shows. So if you get it right, give yourself +2. You get it wrong, give yourself -2. Like, subscribe, and let us know if you're smarter than us. And Mikey. Yes, sir.
I want to go first.
All right, Trey, you go first.
The reason I want to go first is because my question pertains to where we just left off. Who holds the record for the most points scored per game as a Sixth Man of the Year winner? We were just talking to Sixth Man. So it feels like I should have won.
Nice segue.
So the question is, who holds the points? Who holds the record for most points scored per game by a Sixth Man of the Year winner? Ricky Pierce, Cliff Robinson, Eddie Johnson, Montrezl Harrell.
Eddie Johnson.
Montrezl Harrell.
Cliff Robinson.
And Jay's going Cliff Robinson. Gentlemen, today I have successfully stumped the squad.
Damn.
And it starts. The championship run begins. Let's kick Jay while he's down. Jay.
How much did he score? Do you have that total?
That is my tiebreaker question if we have to get there. So
I had a feeling.
I'll tell you later. Yeah.
All right, Mikey. I'm going down your alley here. According to historians, what was the nickname of the first evil foreigner heel in wrestling to make a big impact in the sport? Was it A, the Iron Sheik, B, the Terrible Turk, C, Gorgeous George, or D, the Russian Bear?
The Iron Sheik.
That's what I was thinking. Iron Sheik.
Yeah, I think it's Iron Sheik.
Well, there was, before the Iron Sheik, there was Gorgeous George. And before Gorgeous George, there was the Terrible Turk. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have successfully stumped the squad as well. Looks like we're going to be stumping everybody here tonight. We'll just keep it going around the wheel the way I see it. Mikey, can you do the three-peat stump?
Well, it actually works that you went over to me because we're going to stay in the world of wrestling. So, famously, one of the guys that is considered in the modern era to have turned face or heel back and forth the most times is The Big Show. There is an entire Wrestle Talk page. There is an entire page on the internet that is devoted to all of the times that he turned face or heel and why. So, my question for you this evening is, in what year did Big Show turn face or heel the most times? 1999, 2003, 2007, or 2010?
Say 2007.
03.
Damn it, Trey. I'm thinking 3 as well. That's my gut. So 03.
This week, I have successfully stumped the squad.
Oh, hello.
1999.
John is
Damn.
It is. We are off to a hot start, guys.
hot fire.
It's a bit hot yoga fire.
So if John stumps us all, is this week
I got it, Jamie.
No, we'll figure out some tiebreaker or some game or something.
I have -6. So you guys got to get this wrong. So, we're going to the NHL. How many hockey pucks on average are used in an NHL game? 4, 6, 10, or 12?
10.
Mike says 10.
6.
Damn it.
Jamie.
6.
Synchronized.
Jamie and Trey say 6. And today I have successfully stumped the squad.
Oh,
well.
All right, here's the tiebreak. The winning margin, you don't have to say the team, of the Celtics-Cavs game on Friday night. The winner wins by
margin?
Yes. So the winner, you don't have to say who wins, but
How much do they win
how
by?
much does the winner win by?
Okay, so you don't have to say who wins. Got it. Okay.
Or I mean,
12.
if there is a tie, we could say team and points. You just have to track
No,
that.
just 2 points.
No, just 2 points. Because that's the easiest way to not. Yeah. 12.
7.
It's Celtics. You said Celtics and Caps.
Yeah.
Cavs. Yep. It's Cavs Celtics.
I think 15.
I'm a Price is Right. All you mother truckers. 5.
Wait, so what's that answers again?
I said 5. Trey said 12. Mike said 7. You said 15.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just text it in the group
All
chat.
right, so we will find out next week who is the first of season 4's Stump the Squad winner because we all suck tonight.
Yeah.
And don't forget to let
Either
us know
that
how
or,
many
you know what?
Actually, I
you
think we all don't deserve a point. I think we go negative at this point. We all got it wrong. You realize that? When's the
We all
last time
started
we did
-1 bucket.
Well,
like -1? We don't
There's-
deserve a tiebreaker for this. Like
Probably.
Guys,
positive that it came out of that.
Presidented.
That was
I
Stump
think
on
we
there.
should take. I think we should take the glasses half full approach here, and we're just all really good question askers. We came up with 4 great
For that.
questions.
And let us know in the comments if you did a lot better than us to Stump the Squad.
Reese.
You get the point.
Let us know.
You get the
or
point.
as Mike said, with our questions, we'll give you a point. If you text us and say you got it right, we will give you a point. Maybe we'll let you come on the show one day, Stump the Squad with us. As usual, fellas, a lot of good stuff went out.
Yes.
Wrestling's heating up. We start doing a little more wrestling talk. Now the wrestling's starting to heat up. The ice is heating up. The basketball court is heating up. In college, the women's game is heating up. The men's game is heating up. Trade deadlines past the NBA. Hockey deadlines coming up. We got the NFL Combine. The NFL seems to never stop. We got that. Maybe we'll talk a little more of that coming up. But make sure y'all definitely check out a lot of our future content. More good things are coming. We're just getting more well-rounded. This is that time of year where, we'll still talk some football, but we ain't just like a lot of these other shows. We talk a lot more than just football. We talk all sports. So, hey, if y'all got comments, make sure you drop them. If you got suggestions of topics, make sure y'all drop them. Cinco Squad Pod 05, that's all of our socials. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Same place, same time next week. Cinco Squad